Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm trying to finish up pretty much the rest of the B20Vtec swap. So what I'm doing right now is the valve cover. I just sprayed it down with some paint stripper and went through and fixed pretty much all the wires that I needed to and extended what I needed to. So like I said, I think in the last video, AD is making me a jumper harness for the distributor, but other than that, I had to extend my VTEC wire, I had to extend my temp sensor wires and fix them, and then I had to fix the fan switch, and then I also had to make a bracket for the map sensor, so that's good. I made a throttle cable bracket, which I still don't think it's really perfect yet, but I think it should work for now. Then I had to extend the intake air temp sensor. I don't honestly know what this connector goes to. I feel like this is to like emissions, because I've got the idle air control valve hooked up, so I don't think this is the idle air control valve plug, but I mean, I don't know, could be mixed up. And then I had to fix my brake switch here, or my wire on there. I got the right size belts now. Belts are all tensioned up. Yeah, everything's pretty much ready now. Once the jumper harness is good, then I should be able to just put fluids in and fire it up. Today I'm also going to try and make the exhaust for the car. Now I don't have a flange yet. I was going to run up to the exhaust shop here in a little bit after I spray the valve cover and see if I can't find, or see if I can't get a flange and a donut gasket from them. I don't know if I'm going to have to take the header off though. Probably be easier that way, but I got measurements, so I will try and just take that down with me. But I don't know, there's not really much room to get that header off, so probably just be easier to do measurements. But yeah, so anyways, welcome to the video. So I had to cut this flange off because I'm not using a flange. So yeah, I cut the flange off, so I have this section. I found this, whatever, I cannot think of what is that called. Why am I stupid right now? But anyway, yeah, I found this off of a cat that was in the back. So I just cut it off and cleaned it up, and now this will slide right over it like that, and I can just weld it around. That'll be good. And then, yeah, and then I have a resonator that I'm gonna take off the stock exhaust here. So I'm gonna just go ahead and cut this section off and then weld that in its place, because I don't think I really have another resonator laying around here in this pile that I have to take to the junkyard yet. But yeah, so I got this one, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one out right now. So while I'm waiting to go to the exhaust shop or the store or whatever, just to try and find a flange, I went ahead and laid the first coat of the wrinkle paint. I don't know why it attracts all these little bugs, but yeah, give it a few good coats and hopefully it turns out halfway decent. I think no matter how it turns out, it's going to be better than it was before, because it was just flat and faded. Alright, so in between coats, I just laid the second coat on the valve cover, so while I'm waiting for that to dry for a few minutes, I'm going to just go ahead and, I already tacked this little expander piece onto the flange, so I'm going to go ahead and weld it around really quick and then shoot the last coat on the valve cover and then head over to, I don't know, I'll just head up to the exhaust shop because they'll probably have one for sure to get a donut gasket, and then I can go ahead and start piecing the exhaust together. So let's weld this up really quick. Right, so here it is. Here's the flange. So I need the donut gasket to fit this inner seal, and inner diameter really is just 2 1/4 inch to get around the header. So should be easy. Pretty common size exhaust, honestly, I think. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot the third coat on the valve cover quick, and then head over to the exhaust shop. Back from my parts run. Look at this valve cover. It's coming out so nice. It's looking a lot better than when I did it on the DA. Granted, it is a bit warmer today, and I let this valve cover soak in the sun for a while. So yeah, went to AutoZone and O'Reilly's. Normally AutoZone carries Cherry Bomb glass packs, but they were out, but I did get the donut gasket that I needed. It's sitting on the header right now. And so I went to O'Reilly's and got a thrush. This thing's a little long, so I don't know, I'm gonna just have to try and chop up the piping maybe. But yeah, it fits right into this, so I'll just clean it up, weld that on. Yeah, I might have to expand some of the exhaust to get that to slide in, because I don't really want to butt weld it. But making progress. I mean, got the resonator situation figured out, so now it's just a matter of actually piecing it all together and welding it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the edges on this, that way I can weld it and start getting to welding. So I went ahead and bolted up the back section of the exhaust, or at least everything except for the center section up there. So the fitment honestly is really good. It's a little tight up here. I think that's more or less because the way the exhaust is sitting right now, my hangers don't really sag, so I might have to swap them around a little bit, like the hanger bushings or whatever. But I mean, it looks pretty solid. I mean, honestly, like the fitment's really good. So now that I got everything hung up, I gotta try and mark out under here where exactly I gotta cut the pipe at, because that's obviously really long. So I don't know, just trying to have to make this work. So because I'm really pretty inexperienced with making exhaust and whatnot, and so let me kind of just show you what I'm doing here. I already showed you that I cut up the other section, got the cherry bomb or whatever set up. So this section here, this tapered section, slides, even though it's 2 1/4 inch, it slides in here nice. And this, it's hard to tell on camera, I'm sure, but this section bends to kind of go with the angle of underneath the car here. But the way I have the other section set up, I can bring the glass pack straight back pretty much to this. So I just need a little bit of a section to fill the gap here of what I just cut off right here, because this whole piece was angled. So had to take that section off. So just to make my job easier, this tapered section here, like I said, slides in there just enough for me to get a good solid weld. And then yeah, I'll just mark up where I need to cut it, and then I'll just have to run to Harbor Freight, get a pipe expander, and open this up a little bit to slide over the other section. And then yeah, then that should pretty much conclude that. Hopefully it goes as easy as I'm hoping it will, but you know, you never know. Alright, so not the straightest, I know, but you know, it's sealed here. I was able to slide the tube in here without having to expand it, and then I'll just have a little bit of a gap to fill up there because it's kind of like slanted up like that a little bit. But yeah, so I'm going to just pull the welder out, give it a few good tacks around, and then drop it all off and then weld it all up. But this should work just fine. I already just went and played up with the linkage, and the linkage does not bind or hit on the glass pack at all, so we are good. This is definitely one of those times when I really wish I had a lift or like quick jacks or something to get the car a bit higher off the ground, because this really sucks. But you know, gotta work with what you got. So because of my lack of skill of cutting and just the way this pipe is already angled, there is this gap here. It's really easy to fill. Basically, I'm just going to tack this section together, so tack that side, and then fill the middle. Because the heat, even though it is turned down, this is really thin pipe, and this is actually aluminum, so this for some reason burns through quicker. So yeah, I'm going to just kind of do that, and then the rest of the way around all of these, I can just do a straight. I'll probably just end up zigzagging it a little bit, and yeah, I'll just film a couple seconds of it just because I don't want to damage my camera lens. So just so you guys can get the idea. And then for this side, because this is a 2.5 inch, I'm going to just take the hammer and beat that in a little bit to close the gap. Alright, so with the joints all welded up, I'm going to just give it a little bit of a silver spray paint just to, you know, cover the welds so they don't rust up. And then I'll be ready to bolt it back up. I don't think you guys understand how long of a weekend in the past couple of days this has been. Non-stop, pretty much every waking minute working on this car. Some of you may say determination. Some of you may say I have motivation or whatever. I just say I don't like leaving things or incomplete. So engine bay is totally ready now. All it needs is just the distributor jumper harness, LBD2 to LBD1, which AD should hopefully have for me at work tomorrow. Although these wires are not the prettiest because they aren't wrapped, it will work eventually. I will go back and cover this up, put the valve cover on. Still needs a little bit more time to cure, but I mean, yeah, the motor's not going to run for probably till tomorrow, so it'll be alright. But look at how good that looks for the minimal amount of prep work I did, I should say. And then yeah, the wheels, I had an issue where they weren't rolling, and it's because the seals, the axle seals, were like doubled up on the one side. And now that the exhaust is all set up, bolted up, and fits up nice, this car is ready to go. So I already primed it. I hooked the battery up to prime it to make sure that the ignition stuff was going to work, and it primed, so that's a good sign. We'll see if my ignition, like turning it all the way forward, works. So I haven't put my center console and stuff in yet, because if I'm going to have to wire my push to start, I'm going to have to rip all that stuff out anyway to feed the wires. So it needs the seats, and it needs center console and armrest, which takes 15 minutes to put in. But yeah, everything else is done. I am just stoked. I'm so relieved this car is almost on the road. So I think I'm gonna wait, and I'm not gonna end this video yet. I want to put the first startup in this video. So I'm gonna end this video for the day, and I'll catch up with you guys maybe tomorrow if I get to fire it up. We'll see. So see ya when I see ya. Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome to this part of the video now. DelSol is ready to fire up. I just went through a little finascal. I didn't bother filming it, but I got the jumper harness right here, thanks to AD. Runs right back here. And then I had an injector leak, and I was making sure the car primes, which it does. And the cylinder, I think this is 2. No, I'm sorry, cylinder 3 O-ring. The injector O-ring was bad. Had a tear in it. And then I don't know how, but I somehow forgot that or for some reason never drained the oil when I pulled this motor a year ago, and I just put like 4 quarts in, and I didn't fire the car up at all. But yeah, I was checking the oil, and it was like way over. So I just drained some out, 3 quarts, and I tried cranking the car over before. The ignition doesn't work properly. There is some wires that are still going. There's a plug that goes nowhere, and I cannot find for the life of me where it goes, and I'm sure that's probably the rest of my issue. But just to, I don't have to go back to the push to start, but I'm just wiring it up really quick outside the car, so that way I can try and turn this thing over and see if this thing works. So it's ready. So I'm gonna just plug in the other end of this wire to the starter quick and give it some beans. This is it. I got it primed up, got the ECU in, got the fluids in, so let's give it a shot. Make sure we just clear it out. Put the tools anywhere. valve cover and the oil burning off of the header, but I don't smell gas or nothing.
No, you're gonna smell that burning for a day or two.
Alright, still holding good. Cooling system is just almost up to temp, so yeah, I don't even really know what to say. I'm just extremely stoked. Just gotta. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you guys yet, but yeah, I didn't put it in my last video because I realized I was incorrect. You know the dust seal that goes on the half shaft to hold the actual seal, like the dust seal that goes against that seal. Well, I wasn't paying attention, and for some reason I thought that metal ring was a seal, so I flipped it around, welded it on because it was not the right one, but I needed it to work. And yeah, if I jack the car up and it goes on unlevel surface and it starts pissing tranny fluid. So I stopped at O'Reilly's on the way home and I picked up an input shaft seal, but apparently this is the wrong name for it. It's so hard to tell online because they all look the same. You can't tell the actual size. So I'll have to go back and figure this out, but the car is running, guys. I'm extremely happy. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna keep on bleeding the cooling system. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was somewhat entertaining to you. If it was, be sure to slap that like button. Hip thrust it if you want. Do what makes you happy. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.